Must have knocked them dead. Actually, I just need my phone and I need a clock. We need a clock in here. On that back wall, we need a clock.
I was been saying that for ages, yeah.
There's no time reference in it.
Do you want to borrow my watch?
I'll get my phone. I'll just have my phone running.
Okay.
Right.
Did you start coming in?
It's going to be about. So what? Aquarium.
I'm going to see. Yeah, if you keep my chair all
Yeah, the noise can make you want to go, can't it? It's quite secret, that. See, it's which I've been serious for.
It's an eel.
I don't see it's
When those kind of things get wrong.
You're going to have space. You're going to have space.
No, they're not.
The last one was an hour long.
probably been
Oh, yeah.
Very white.
Cage, is it down next to the bar?
Right. 30 seconds from there. This was just to relax you. You know. I like people to be relaxed.
You're going from that to numbers. Wow.
Relax time's over. No, it's time. So it's a bit of an IT tradition that we start with numbers. Let me just get this to work. William's presentation. So never works first time. Okay, here we go. We're in. Right, so we'll start with some numbers, and I'm going to give you a few clues as to what we're talking about. So we're going to start with this one here. So 4.1 billion is the number of email accounts globally that we have. Just under 1 billion of those are business email accounts, which account for obviously quite a lot of email. So this one, what do we think this one is?
Pay packet.
But I just stood here.
The number of
projects that IT are working on at the moment.
No. In fairness, that's only 4.1 billion. Yeah.
number of actual emails.
So yes. Right, so this is the number of emails. In 2014, the number of emails sent globally is 191 billion, of which business emails are 108 billion emails. So a staggering figure, which we should all work to try and reduce. Sorry, I'm having trouble with this pointer. Let's go back to the old-fashioned way. Okay, so let's pick a number. So 58. What do we think 58 is? Any ideas?
Your age?
Age? Yes. Fared well. IT is a very undemanding industry. It's a very relaxing place to work. So 58. Okay, 58 is the percent of adults that check their emails first thing in the morning. Because when you come in and read your email, drinking your coffee, it feels like you're working. Whereas in actual fact, you're just easing yourself into the day before you actually do the thing that you need to do that day. So hands up, who comes in the morning first thing you do is your email. Okay, we got okay. I've done that as well, Mark, actually. Hands out who reads their emails the first thing they do when they wake up in the morning. Yeah. Oh my God, it's terrifying. And the last thing before they go to bed. Okay, so okay. There's a nice 150 is a good one. What do you think 150 is? Okay. So this is, if you've got a mobile that's got email on it, the number of times you check it in a day is 150 times a day we're checking our emails. Now this is quite a massive burden on the time we have available to us. And so the question is why? Why do we check it 150 times a day? It's actually more, our smartphone is used for email more than a telephone these days. So no, that's just one other to bear in mind. This is all just setting the scene. Obviously, Salesforce will be interesting after this. But let's carry on. 28. Let me think what 28 is. Okay. Any ideas? It's pretty tough to guess what these are. So 28 is the percentage of your day spent on email. Over a quarter of your day is spent doing your emails. That's over 2 hours, 2.25 hours or something they reckon it is. It'd be quite nice to get some of that time back. Everybody tells me they're too busy. Everybody tells me they've got too much to do. You could get almost 2 hours back a day if you just work differently on how you approached email. And there's ways of doing that to help you to take control of your email. And last but not least, actually I shouldn't have listed this one. This one's not so interesting. I should have done that one before the 28%. 120 is the amount of emails we send and receive a day. Anybody think they do loads more than that? Francis, do you do more than 120? I reckon you might. To me, yeah, it might be about right, 120 a day.
And it's lower since we are a little bit disconnected from US, but it's still...
And whilst we're all in here, it will go right down. Because it's surprising how many emails we send within this building. Is that a good use of email? Don't know. Something else you might come on to. Right, so let me just jump back. So that just gets us going. So you're wondering, how does this link into Salesforce.com? Well, if you use Salesforce.com, you'll never... No, it's not true. We were going to do a feature on Salesforce.com today. It's a work in progress. We're not at a position where I had a great update to give you. So, and the person I was going to use to help me has gone on holiday, which isn't ideal. I can't remember who signed it off, but it could have been me. So we switched to a topic which actually, because Salesforce isn't, not everybody uses Salesforce, so we switched to a topic which does affect us all, which, as you probably guessed by now, is related to email. So what I'd like to do in the next, I'm hoping not to take the full hour, because there's some takeaways and actions out of this presentation which, if I could leave you 10-15 minutes at the end, you could go back to your desk and maybe do some of them.
Catch up with your email.
Rather than just jumping straight back into your email, which I reckon at least 60 to 70% of you will do when you leave here. Because obviously the world might have died in the hour we've been in here. So we're going to look at, don't be a slave to your email. Why do we check it first thing in the morning? Why do we check it 150 times a day? What is it about email that draws us to it? So we're going to look at that. So don't be a slave to it. Think before you click. Is email the right tool? Should you do a respond all to 50 people with a massive attachment? Think before you click. Could you just walk to somebody's desk? Am I emailing, I don't know, Catherine, because she's right the way down there and I'm right the way down there? Well, really? Should I be emailing Catherine? No. And then taking control. There's ways that you can use email. There's tools in there that we can use which help identify what you should be working on, helps you ignore the things that maybe aren't so urgent that you could look at later. So take control. And then we're just going to do a wrap-up of things that we've seen today which might help you. We're going to be a little bit interactive today because I want to sort of try and drive home some of the things we do on email that in real life you wouldn't do. And so we're going to try and bring those to life and see how we are using email today. So don't be a slave to your inbox. So this is my inbox, not today, but on a normal day. And what I've noticed people do, a lot of people have two screens, and they leave their Outlook up on one screen. And so they're working away over here, and all the time they're having a look over there. Oh, emails come in. Oh yeah, actually, I'll move to that, because that looks more interesting than what I'm working on. Because what I'm working on is something that's hard and necessary. It might be a piece of documentation, might be something for audit, might be something that doesn't fill us with glee. Whereas this email, oh, this looks fun, I'm going to go and do that. So you might have experienced this as well. You come into work in the morning, you think, there's 3 things I really, really need to get done today. And you leave, or you get there at 6 o'clock, whatever time you go, and you think, I haven't done any of those. What have I been doing all day? Okay, my inbox has come right down. Great, so tomorrow I've got 3 things that I need to do. Will I get them done tomorrow? Possibly not. And this is how we seem to run our lives. Because we have this open, it distracts us. Distraction is a killer to getting something achieved. So my advice would be, don't have this open on your screen, or on your second screen, or in the background. Just shut it down. Not close it completely, just minimise it. And then maybe get into a habit that you check it every couple of hours. Email shouldn't be used for anything that is an emergency. Email originally was designed that you send somebody an email, like you post somebody a letter, they get the letter, they read it at their own convenience, and then at their own convenience they write you back a letter. Now we've all sort of got into the thinking that email it's got to be instant response. It's got to be like a Twitter, it's got to be like a messaging type thing. It doesn't have to be, it shouldn't be like that. Email should be, you read it when it's convenient to you, so when you finish the thing you're working on, read your email. If there's an emergency, they should ring you up or come and see you. Or
they send you another email saying, why haven't you responded? It's true. And we get that a lot.
Okay, interesting one. Okay, I'll think about that one. But yeah, you say, well, if it's an emergency, you should have called me. I checked my email. I was reading a book about it. It was the 15-minute millionaire, which is really hard to say. And he checked his emails in the morning, at lunchtime, and in the evening. And he had an out of office that if anybody sent him an email, his out of office said, I only check it 3 times a day. If you need me in between those 3 times a day, you've got to ring me up. And he had to work 15 minutes a day, and he's a millionaire. So if we all got into the habit and we all knew that people didn't check their email constantly, you would get into the habit of either trying to like them or link them or go and see them or ring them. We wouldn't all be so obsessed with email. To close that screen down, this is one of my real pet hates, this thing here. So I'm working away. This is a business case for those who haven't seen them. This is what we need to fill in if you want any project work done in IT. They're not the most interesting thing to fill in because you have to justify why you want something writing in IT. So you're writing this business case and this pops up, urgent. Oh my God, it's from Rick Batts, it's urgent. Figures required for the end of next week. That's not urgent, is it? So do I have to now stop what I'm doing to do that? No. Did I need to know that was there? No. Turn your pop-up off, because email shouldn't be the distraction it is today. I should be focused on finishing this document because I've got to get it done. Otherwise this IT project will never get written. I obviously don't do these, but I review these. I need to finish this, I need to focus on it, get it done, then I can pick this up later, in 2 hours' time. I can then work on it when I need to, because I've still got till the end of next week. And somebody commented to me that in the Valiant world now, we're having to have definitions of urgent, from urgent to very urgent to super urgent to urgently urgent to the most urgent thing of urgent, is the new classification of urgent. So everything that seems to be urgent, and I'm seeing more and more emails that have got urgent, which makes it very hard to fight against them, if you like. Best I don't know that's there. Best I look at that in 2 hours when I finish doing what I was trying to do. So to turn this off, and it's really easy, 3 steps, and this isn't a training exercise, this is just to show you how easy it is, and then after this session I'm going to be wandering around, and if anybody's having trouble, please turn off your pop-up. I can just talk you through it. Most people in IT know how to do this, just ask any of us. Francis now knows how to do this because we turned his off the other day. So you do file, you do options, and you take this off. Just unclick that. If you have sound on your laptop, not many of us do, but take the sound off. You don't want to know it's there. When I'm ready to check my email, I will see what post I've got. So that's one thing, because this distraction is so constant. So here's another one. Here's another one. So How many times have you gone to talk to somebody, and as you're talking to them, they carry on typing their emails? Has anybody ever had that happen to them? No, I can't. Okay, yeah, I've got to say. So let's okay, can I borrow you for a sec? And let's see how this is. Have you got the iPad? Anyway. So I just need something to simulate typing. So this is how it goes, isn't it? So I'm sat on my desk, and Beck walks in, and I'm typing away on my email, because that's all I do all day. So I'm typing away email.
Rick, there's something really important I need to speak to you about.
No, I'm listening.
No, seriously,
No,
there's
I'm
a major project.
Yeah.
It's to make loads of money. Francis is going to love this. It's really important.
Yeah.
I need to speak
No,
to you now.
listening.
No, seriously.
That's how it happens. And I've seen it happen loads of times. Okay.
Which project it is?
So let's put that into real. If I wasn't doing an email and Beck had just come up to me, can we do that again, please? So this is what just happened, but in real life. So here we go again.
Rick, about that project,
Yes, Francis,
you know, we really need to get the
talk to you
detail on
about
the
it.
budget.
No, I'm
We need the
listening.
budget. Man, we need the budget for right now.
I am listening.
No, seriously, Rick. We're going to run.
That's what I've been doing. When you're typing an email, that's what you're doing. You're talking to somebody else, or somebody's trying to talk to you. Would you do that in real life? You wouldn't ever be that rude. You would give them your time. So please, when somebody comes up to your desk, stop doing what you're doing on your laptop and talk to them. Look them in the eye and talk to them like a human being. You know, because it is very rude. I'm guilty of a lot of things in here. I'm no saint, believe me. I catch myself doing this still to this day. But now I'm conscious of it, I stop myself doing it. But it's being conscious that you're being actually really quite rude. So here's another one. This is another one of my pet hates. So you've been called to a meeting, and you bring your laptop in, and somebody's talking. So somebody has prepared something, is making effort talking, trying to explain something, whatever. And the guys come in and they got their laptops and the screens up, and you're like, oh, I'm on call, or I'm waiting for an urgent email. Get that lot. Any excuse. And so they're there at the meeting, and they're there, and I can do them. Send. Obviously, you don't hear the send, but you can tell it's email just by the pattern of the pause, the response, the pause. I'm trying to tell you something. We're in a team meeting, maybe we're getting updates from people. It's important you listen. Don't. And again, I could role play this, and it's just a very rude thing to do. And your email shouldn't be the focus. Getting your inbox down shouldn't be your focus. If there's something urgent, if you're in a 1 hour meeting and you get an urgent email, they should call you. Most things can wait an hour. Even in the IT, authorising something for us in IT, if we've got to authorise a data fix or something, it can wait an hour. If it can't, if order entry's stopped, they'll be on the phone, believe me. They wouldn't send that in an email. So, again, we don't need to keep our laptops open, and we don't need to be on email. There's just one thing, another thing that I find quite frustrating. But we think we do, that's the problem, because we think it's urgent. So, the think part is, this is a bit American for me, but it was one of the things that I could find, and it does sort of represent, we just read an email and we just go blah, 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 respond to all, respond to one, maybe add some, take some off. We seldom take people off, actually, we generally just add people. So you just think, and before you email, this is the one. You just read that one. I'm not sure that's entirely true, but if you lodge that in your brain, every time you're about to do reply all, you're going to think of a little kitten somewhere. So before you email, can I go and talk to them? Can I pick up the phone? Can I, we use Skype. We're going to get a corporate tool called Link. We're just working on that. That will come out. That will be our sort of instant messenger tool, which again is quite good. Because phone, sometimes if you're in a meeting, again, this is where I get slightly, if you're in a meeting, can you still be on Skype? Don't know. I need to work that one out. If it's urgent, yes, I think you can, because if it was urgent, you would have taken the call and gone out the room anyway. So maybe Skype is acceptable, but not email in a meeting. This one, we need to talk. This one, this happens quite a lot. I get people walk to my desk, I've just sent you an email. Okay? Why? You just walked to my desk. Why have you walked to my desk to tell me? I have people ring me up, I've just sent you an email. Okay? Is it urgent then? Is that why you've rung me up? No, People are confused as to what method of communication. But it's not that difficult. And so, okay. Think about your audience. I don't think. We're back in business. Okay, so here's another classic that think. So if you have decided that actually I do need to use email, I'm talking to somebody in the US, it's not urgent, I've got a document attached, they are the sort of uses for email. So you get a small group discussion. So here we go. So let's start from the bottom. So I'm going to do it on here because it's just easier to control. So we got. Okay, I've sort of done it in French because I don't really want you to get bogged down in the detail. I want you just to, obviously, Francis, you can, but you can do what you want anyway. So this is an example of. So we got Jean-Pierre asking the IT team a question, and then somebody in the IT team picks it up. So Cedric picks it up, responds to Jean-Pierre. 3 people in copy, and then Jean-Pierre responds to back to Cedric. And then Cedric responds to JP, and then JP back to Cedric, and back and forth. With these 3 people who aren't involved, probably don't even care. Because somebody else is dealing with it, do I need to care about it? No, of course I don't. Therefore, do I need it in my inbox? No. So what? Okay, let's let's role play this one. This will be fun. Ben, you can be Cedric. I'm sorry, I'm picking on Ben. He's you just managed it funny. It's the compliment. And then I'm going to need so I'll be JP, and then I'm going to need 3 people. Okay. So now I was trying to think how I'm going to pick my 3 people, and there's one row of chairs in here where there's only 3 chairs. So could those 3 people please come and join us. It's not a speaking role. We won't make you speak French. But I just need to try and, if you'd like to step up in front, I just need to try and, again, visualise what we're doing when we're emailing and copying people in. That's perfect. If you just stay there. Okay. So I'm going to be JP. Okay, this is, Francis, I'm so sorry. Désolé, c'est encore moi. Je pense. So I'm over here. So I'm asking this question. Okay. So these 4 people, I'm asking this question. So I've asked in French. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So now I'm back. Okay. So now. That's what IT do back to me. That's coming next. Okay. So Cedric. And you all need to come because you're part of this email, so come along. So you're all coming. So this is email in real life. This is us talking. Okay, so you're all here. Okay.
Bonjour JP. Non pas bloc sur le serveur IMIA, à moins que quelqu'un d'autre de l'IT ait fait avant moi.
So Cedric, goes back. And then it comes up to me. Okay, right, let's all go back. Because you're all involved, you obviously all want to be aware of this conversation we're having. So, rentrer dans Microsoft. C'est normal. Okay. Let's go. Okay. So these people, they're not looking bored at all yet. They're thoroughly involved. Then you'll come. Because you want to be involved in this. You know what's going on, don't you? You really want to be involved in this. Okay.
Non. Cela voudrait dire que tu es verrouillé au US.
Okay, it's back you go back. Cedric. Okay. So then get back. Okay, let's go and give him the answer. So, in my offices, incroyable, ça m'arrive encore d'être ici. Okay, so I don't get clapped at, you got. Bring them with you. They're still interested in what's going on. Copy them in, they want to know.
Je peux passer?
Okay. There you go, Cedric. We're quicker than him. Okay, we're coming back. This is the end. Okay, so we come back. So this is the end of our conversation that we've all been involved in. Oui. So you see, you got it in the... Why do we do this? You wouldn't do it in real life. I wouldn't go and talk to Beck and ask you all to come with me. Why do we do it? And why don't we just say, why don't we say here, you know, we get asked a question, he doesn't know who to... Okay, ideally, smart call pick it here at this point when you don't know who to ask. But instead ask 4 people. And then here it should be, guys, I've got this, I'm going to deal with it with JP, I'm not going to copy any of you in, we'll sort this out. And then maybe one at the end saying, I've sorted it out. That's all you need, not this back and forth. So thank you very much to our 3 people. You're not off the hook yet. I'm sorry, you're not quite off the hook. So that was this one's going to kill you. That was a little example. Okay, what I'd like to do here, and Beck, I'm going to ask you if you could, so what I want to do is just show another example of how people get copied in without people thinking. So we've got this is a PeopleSoft issue from Faye, who's on the scheduling team, and she's copied in 3 people who are they were the key people in PeopleSoft, and then scheduling team and the vanilla support team. So Beck, could you write down Faye for me and put a 1 next to her name? Because what I'm trying to see is how many people actually are involved in a conversation and how many other people get told about the conversation. So we got Faye starts, and then Faye sends an update, then Donna gets involved. So Donna, sorry, I'll slow down, I was going a bit faster. Yeah, so Donna, we got a 1, Donna, we got a 2, so you're going to have to bear with me. So then Ian gets involved, who's part of the team. Still the same people copied in, a few others. Then we got Donna again. Then we got Ian again, who's copied in a couple more people on the end here. So the numbers going out, Ian. All these people obviously want to know about this. Then Lewis gets involved. Then John. Lewis. Okay, now we got Steve, Sunil, myself being added, because obviously this is PeopleSoft, we must be told about it, so we're involved now. And they've been asked a question. So Lewis, 1 more, then Santosh, Lewis, Santosh, Lewis, how far are we up? Halfway. Santosh, I'll speed up. Lewis, Santosh, Ian, Santosh, John, Ian, John. Okay, so we've got quite a few people on this invitee list and CC. Ian, John, Laura, new one. I haven't seen Laura, so Laura's involved now. She's probably just come on shift from the start of the lady that logged it who's gone off shift. Such has been the link for this email. John, Laura, John, Laura, John, Sean.
New one.
Hey! Sean's probably the man that can fix this. This is what normally happens. It goes back and forth around people who don't really know what to do, and then the person that can fix it gets told right at the end, obviously, because they fix it. John, Sean. Okay, one more for Sean. Okay. How many have we got, Beck?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 40.
40?
Yes.
40. You're quick at now. Okay. 40 people. So let's look at this one then. So when I said there was 2 group addresses, when you expand that out, we started this conversation with 45 people. We ended it with 59 people. 40 emails in total. 8 people actually commented. Do you know how many emails that is? 2,100 individual emails on a topic discussed by 8 people. So 59 people had to delete 40 emails, or possibly even read, if they're foolish, 40 emails. Why? Why don't somebody take it offline? Say, we'll deal with this, and when it's finished, we'll let you know what the problem was, what we did, what the impact was. No, we all just hit respond all, kitten dies, respond all, kitten dies. You know? Think about your audience. Do these people need to be involved? Thank you, Beck. Round of applause for Beck. Okay, here's another one. Your title. We get a lot of emails, and you look at them and you think, right, some of them I can tell what they want. Some, Salesforce.com. Okay, it's quite a big topic. Anything in particular you want to know about Salesforce.com to help me? No, people just don't really think about the title. You can add more title like this one. Psycho action required. I need you to do something. You've got to read this email because you've got to do something for me.
The action required normally have about 30 people copied in on them anyway, and only one of them actually needs to do anything.
Again, that's because we're not very good at using email. That one was for myself and Dave Peters to our direct reports, that we need your site profile for the budget. And then you can get even more specific. Mid-year review, please complete it by this date. I need it by this date. Really good, nice, you can read that and think, right. You could put what's called, come later, you can put something called a reminder on there to remind you that you need to fill this in as well. So in case, because our brains aren't great at remembering to do things. So think about your title. Think about attachments. Attachments are another good one. So here we have, looks innocent enough, from, how do you pronounce that? Somebody copied in these few people and another group. 11 megabyte attachment. 11 meg is quite big. Most companies, you wouldn't be allowed to send 11 meg. They have like a 1 meg limit. We're quite generous. There is no limit. Perhaps there will be one day. So, but when you expand it out, that's 25 people in that little group. So we've just sent an 11 meg attachment to 29 people. That's 300 megabytes of data on a mail server and on their local Outlook, if you like. 300 meg is a lot for those who don't know. And that was sent at 1620. And then 2020, somebody asked for a follow-up. They attach it again. Another 300 meg, 600 meg, 0.6 of a gigabyte of data that probably one person is interested in. Why would you attach it again? Just say any progress on this. So, interestingly, PeopleSoft, we've had it running for 13 years, million orders a month or whatever it is, for the whole of America, the whole of Europe, is 3 terabytes in data. It's called for 13 years. All the orders, invoices, general ledger, everything that runs this company for America is in a mere 3.5 terabytes of data. Email, just for Europe, 10 terabytes of data. 3 times as large as our ERP. Full of stuff that nobody's interested in. So think about your attachments. Really, we've got to be careful. Ideally, stick that on a SharePoint so it sits in one place and then send the link to everybody. Don't send around these massive attachments. Just send a link. Stick it in one place, takes up 11 meg on a SharePoint. Not blocking up your Outlook. Okay, this is an interesting one. So, there's a little email thread here. Actually, that email thread is the one that we looked at there. So Francis, I want you to know what do you think about this? So I've sent it to you. So what you've got to do is read this, okay? Tell me what you think about it. Okay, and it's actually worse than that because our printers print on both sides. So Francis, could you just comment on this for me? You know, I don't give you any clues as to what it's to, what it's about, what input I'd like from you. Don't do that to people. I don't want to read through all that. Half the people on here didn't want to read through all that. Write a little summary. We had this issue. It got copied to 59 people. 40 emails were sent. 2,100 emails. What do you think? I think it's ridiculous. But do the summary. Don't just forward things on. Don't just try and get it out of your inbox. Oh, it's out my inbox. Somebody else's problem. It's somebody's problem. And then they'll give it to somebody else. Just kill it. Get rid of it. We don't want it. We've got other things to do. Structure. This you can send emails, and I don't know again whether you feel the same. If I open an email and it's massive, what do you do? Hands up who closes it straight away. Hands up who deletes it. That's what you probably should do. So we get an email like this. So it's got a very long title. I don't even know what it says, but again, it's in French, so I don't want you to read it. I want you to just focus on it and look at it. So we've got something in blue. Smart call is sort of attention. We've got something in bold here, and it carries on. What else have we got? We've got something else in bold. Something else again, smart call mentioned here, but not in blue this time. Something else in bold, smart call again in black. Then we've got some date, times, support IT. Oh, then we've got something in red, a phone number. Then we've got a list of things. Right, if you're looking at this, you're thinking, what? And then we've got something blue underlined. That must be important. And then something else, and then, thank you very much. That's not a great email. No, I wouldn't read that. It makes no sense. You've got to keep it nice and short, then people will read it. There's something called diagonal read that a lot of people use who get a lot of emails. And there's a slide in a second, actually, but you want to keep it nice and simple, fit it on one page. Now I've got a much more concise title. My attention is being drawn to Smart Call and be your password. So basically, this is saying there's cover. For cover whilst we're on holiday, IT are on holiday, Smart Call, or you can reset your own password. If you need something outside of that, there's some phone numbers to call and all of that. But it instantly is telling you what it's about, what it's relating to. And this diagonal reading, people will look at email and they'll give it 10 seconds. If they don't know what it's about in 10 seconds, they'll close it or delete it. And a lot of people, more and more people are doing this as we're getting more and more emails. So you want a decent title. Pictures are great. Pictures attract people. That's why we use pictures in presentations. They draw you in. Underline stuff, put stuff in bold. You know, a lot of people said don't underline in emails, don't put things in bold because it looks like you're shouting, looks like you're angry. If it's to draw attention to something like Smart Call, that's fine. It's not that you're angry about Smart Call, you just want it to jump out, to get that person to look at it. Okay. Taking control. So that's all about sort of using email, thinking about email, and how to stop it controlling our life. Now this is, it's obviously lots of successful or famous people and how they start their day. You know, there's two that are of interest. This one, don't check your email and do some real work. He's the founder of a blog site, Tumblr, I think it is. He's worth 200 million. He didn't spend his day checking his emails. He actually got on and did something. Mark, this is actually my preferred one. As you come into work, you know there's one thing you have to do, maybe writing a business case, maybe doing that audit check that you have to do. It's a bit laborious, don't really want to do it, but I've got to do it. Come in and do it. Then read your emails. Focus on it, get it done, get it ticked off, out of the way. Yeah, I don't know where that expression comes from. And there's things we can do. So to help you spend less time on your email. Colour code in your email. Does anybody colour code their email? Okay, a few, good. So we're going to take you through that because that really helps draw your attention to anything that is urgent opposed to anything that you're just copied in on, that you can just look at later, maybe never look at. Reminders, using rules to file things, auto-archive and search folders. So this again is mine. So I have I use a system where if it's just to me, if I'm the only person on the to list, it's most likely I've got to do something. Nobody else is going to read it really or respond for me. Again, if you're CC'd on an email, you shouldn't have to do anything on it. It's just for your information. I had this. I set up a rule once where everything that I was just CC'd on, so everything in grey is just for uncopied. I send it off to a folder called a CC folder, and I'll look at it when I'm sat on an airplane or at an airport and I'm bored. I'll look at it. And then I've got people complaining because I haven't actioned it. I'm like, what do you mean? You CC'd me on an email and expected me to do something? No. If you want somebody to do something, or you're asking them, or maybe even delegating something, they've got to be on the to list. They can't be on the CC. So you know, I know instantly, and blue is where it's to me, but it's also to somebody else. So I might have to do something, or I might not. So I know, I come in, I start with red, I go to blue, I seldom get to grey. Just for information. The trouble is now everybody who sends me an email is going to put you on the to. But don't do that. That sort of defeats the whole object of trying to colour code. And to do this, again, view settings, conditional formatting, and then you can just set up rules. Mail I'm CC'd on, mark it in a colour. Send directly to me. These are all pre-defined. And all you have to do is click on the one and then just tell it what colour you want it to be. I'm setting up a new one, so my boss is going to be in green. So it just jumps out at me a bit if it's from my boss. It's that simple, colour code. And it just helps you get through what you should be looking at. Reminders. Again, if I've got that one had urgent, need figures by next week, I can set myself, and I've got something I've got to get done this week. I've got to write a presentation, like Monday, Tuesday, I've got to write a presentation, and I'm doing it on Wednesday. So anything I get, or I've got till the end of the week, I'll put a reminder on it for Thursday morning, or this afternoon. When this is out the way, not enjoying it, but when it's out the way, then I can go and pick up that piece of work, because I've got to get that done by the end of the week. Set yourself a reminder, you don't have to worry about it again, because you'll get reminded by the system to do it. Stop too much building up in your head. Again, you just click on the side here, and then you just tell it when you want it to remind you about it. Easy tools to use. Rules. Does anybody use rules? Okay. So, I get a lot of email from machines. This is from the iSeries. It's told me of any change of data that's happened, and I need to log this for audit because I have to check it, make sure it's done right. So I have a rule that says anything from here goes to this folder on my Outlook, and then once a month I open that folder and I go through the 30 emails and I check them for audit. I don't see them the rest of the time. I just set myself a reminder to check it once a month. I go and check it, sign it off, done. I have one, so I have the same from another, that's from a system, that's from a, embarrassing, that's from a cosmetics company. I don't know why they've got my email address, but they have. Obviously somebody used it without my knowledge. But there's no unsubscribe on it. I can't stop the email. So I keep getting them. Every week I get emails from strawberry.net, do I want these cosmetics? Not really. Maybe in a few years. No, don't say maybe now, please. And so these, I've set up a rule, goes straight to deleted. Don't see them, disappear, no, don't have to do anything with them. And as I get more and more, since you go onto LinkedIn, I get more and more, do you want to buy this, do you want this, you need big data, you need all this sort of IT stuff. I get like, some have unsubscribed and I can stop them. Some is just an email and I can't stop it. Come in, takes me 10 seconds, I set up a rule, I never see another email from that person. It's really easy. And I have lots of rules. Lots and lots of rules. And it just cuts down my inbox. And I should set up more. Again, to do a rule, file, rule. If you need any help with this, get me, get any of the guys. Most of the IT guys know how to do this stuff. And some of you in here already do it as well, so ask around. It's a little bit strong, this. It's kind of true, isn't it? If we talk to people like that and ignore them. So, 40 minutes, perfect. So we're coming to the end. So we went through, don't be a slave. Shut down your Outlook box. Don't have it open all the time, distracting you. Distraction is your killer. That's why we don't get things done, is because we get distracted. I am very guilty of that. Turn off that pop-up. Don't have that little distraction coming up. You're working on something. Don't keep going, oh, look, holidays. Let's go and see what holidays they're selling, because that's much more interesting than work. It is. It's human nature to be distracted, especially if we're doing something we don't really want to do, but we've got to do it. So any distraction will do. Stop writing when somebody comes to talk to you. Sit back, talk to them. Maybe even get up, go to the coffee machine with them, have a chat to them. Don't just keep doing your emails and working. Attend meetings. And I'm not talking about turning up with your laptop and doing your emails. Attend meetings, listen to what people are talking about, participate, join in, engage. Don't be distracted by email. Think before you click. Is there another means of communication? Can I just go and talk to this person? Can I phone this person? Can I Skype this person to ask if I can phone this person? A lot of people do that. A lot of people don't like ringing people because they fear they're interrupting them. And yet this person will probably be interrupted by your email anyway. So you can ring them, you can Skype them. When's a convenient time? Link is coming in, which will be publicised when we're ready to launch it. If it does need email, think about your audience. Do I have to respond to 57 people? Do I click reply all? Does a kitten die? Think about that. Can I just block a load of people off here and just say, I'll deal with this, I'm picking this up, I'm going to delete you all off, do a separate email, take them off the return, because people ask me how to do this. So you take them off the reply and say, I am picking this up. So any other email, just send it just to me because I'm dealing with it. And then you send a separate email to all the other people you just deleted saying, I have picked this up, you won't get any more emails, until I've resolved it, and then I'll tell you what I did. Because if you do a reply all saying, I'm picking this up, the next person will just do reply all anyway, and they're still on. You haven't dropped them off. If you drop them off and say, I'm picking it up, they don't know you've picked it up. So you've got to tell them you're picking it up, but not within the same email, if that makes any sense. I just ad-libbed that whole piece, and I'm not sure I thought it through. But I'm picking it up, tell everybody you've just picked it up. They don't need to know. Even if you drop people off, are they going to, if that big example we had, if I got dropped off halfway, would I have been lying there going, I wonder what happened with that problem? They dropped me off. I wonder if it's been fixed, you know? If it hadn't been fixed, I would have heard about it, because it was a PeopleSoft issue. People aren't going to really care if you just drop them off and they never hear about that issue again, because they'll think it must have been resolved. Good. Take control. Colour coding, set reminders, use rules. These are all quick things. You will get your time back in doing these in a day, I imagine. Really easy to do. And I say auto-archiving, I haven't talked about it, but you can say if after a certain date, archive everything, like archive this folder every 30 days. Some people just leave everything in their inbox because they don't agree with filing. You can say take all this at the bottom every 90 days and stick it in my archive folder, just to keep your inbox at a certain size. I try and file mine. And then, you know, so that takes on to so the takeaways, again, it's almost like I'm just repeating the same thing and hopefully some of it's going to sink in. People and work are first, not your email. Email is important, it's our corporate tool, but it is a distraction to you. Your work and the people are key. Think, can I walk, can I phone, can I Skype, can I link when we get it? If not, can I email? Do I have to copy in anybody else? Can I drop somebody off? Attachments. I'm always changing the subject title when I reply to emails. If I think that's got a really rubbish title, I change it and then reply, which probably messes up people who search by title, but I don't care, because it's more meaningful, especially if you just added somebody in, because they don't want to have to trawl through all this. It's nice to know actually what we're talking about. Keep it short, simple, it's diagonal read, and use the tools that are there to help you. You know, I'm done in 45 minutes, which is just where I want it to be. So you've now got 15 minutes. Go back to your desk, not just read your email. Maybe do some of these things, these taking control, set up some tools, have a play with them. You've got 15 minutes, give them back to you to do just that before you get back to your email. Thank you all for your time.
Rick, we got rid of Postini recently, didn't we? We don't use Postini now anymore as our spam filter. And there seems to be a huge amount more emails coming into the company with selling Viagra and all this sort of stuff. When I'm now saying, okay, target audience is good, but not really what I want to read.
I get makeup, you get Viagra, I don't know. And we're on the Valiant anti-spam now, and it needs tweaking.
Okay.
I think it's more of an Eastern European one, and maybe it's not quite tweaked for Western Europe. So as we get them, we will identify them and start blocking them. But again, you can set up your own rule.
I mean, do we mark them as junk or something like that? Does that help you? Or
sorry?
If we mark them as junk, does that help you at all?
I don't believe so, no. No.
Can you not send it to spam buster?
Okay, right click on block sender.
Yeah,
No,
right
that's
click on
not
the email
good.
block
Because I
sender.
get lots of emails.
All these things. To try it. So we're going to try and measure the email traffic today, and then I'm going to measure it in 6 months' time and see if anything's changed. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.